We're visiting today with internationally known artist Laddie John Dill, and he's invited us to come down to his studio, and he's going to give us a little tour of some of the projects he's currently working on, and telling us a little bit about where the work is going and what he's doing with it.
Hi. Well, I don't know where to start. There's so much of it, but I could start by explaining what the materials are, the basic materials, which are kind of signature materials for me. What this is actually it's a cement emulsion that's mixed with a polymer to give it a very high bond onto like a wood form, and then I pigment the work with ground minerals and oxides that are indigenous to certain landscapes, certain areas. For instance, the pigments in a piece like this, I don't know if you can see this or not, are sulfur, red iron oxide, blue cobalt oxide. All of these, and volcanic ash, all of these materials are indigenous to Mojave area, Arizona desert, places like that.
Well, and it kind of looks almost like stone.
Yeah.
You know, with
well, it is in a sense. It's ground, and then it's poured out into as an emulsion, and then it's carved. So it's actually reworking stone. The oxides are actually ground stone. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
The shiny area is plate glass. So there's a lamination process where the glass goes down into the cement, and then as the cement cures, it crystallizes underneath the glass. So it's like a geode.
Oh, get a close-up of this. This is really fantastic. Now, this particular series of works right here, this is going where?
Well, this is a working wall for me. This is my palette, in a sense, of shape and color. But I have done walls like this. I just did the entrance to the Bakersfield Museum as a wall. I did a huge wall like this in Kobe, Japan, a few years ago, and they're like, it's like a set of drawings. People say, do I sketch? You know, well, basically this is what I do to visualize larger pieces.
So when you're doing something this large, you never sit down and draw this all out beforehand. So there's
no,
some spontaneity.
I just can't. I can't visualize it in color pencil. You know, it's like I got to do the piece. You know, on a small scale, and then work up. I mean, there's some pieces in here that are 6 to 8 to 10 feet long now. They all started on this scale, on these. But the reason it's arranged like this is I love the energy that these individual pieces have amongst each other. It's almost like a dialogue, you know. So I've had people come in and they note that, and then they start to try to color coordinate. You know, they might commission me to do like a wall, and they'll say, well, we want to keep it within, you know. And I think that the real energy in this thing is in its arbitrary aspect. You know, like the unexpected feeling of red iron oxide piece next to a sulfur piece. You know, you could never plan that. Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic. Now the piece behind us over here.
All right, this is a commission piece. This concept I've been working with for quite a few years. The idea of breaking away from the rectangle, and actually I start with, again, working in model stages. With a rectangle, and then I start to take negative space out. I always work that way, with a solid and then remove. So this piece is a 5 by 10 foot rectangle, but then I've taken areas out, so that, and then it creates this almost bird-like form. This is a commission for a guy up in Monterey Bay, private commission. Most of the work that is irregular like this is architecturally specific. It's made for a space.
So is this going into a home or a commercial?
It's going into a home.
Oh,
yeah, this particular one.
Now, what about the corner piece here?
Okay, this guy here. This one is something I did. This is mine. I did it for myself, but I have done commissions from it, and this one's been in a lot of shows. It actually breaks down quite easily.
Really, it doesn't look like it.
No, right, and it's very stable. It's been through a few earthquakes. You know,
well,
it's quite stable.
The individual pieces come. Are they all separate, or are
yeah?
these
Well, the
sections
first
hooked
8
together?
feet is one section.
Okay.
and the cantilevering occurs in reverse, like the piece actually swings into the corner naturally, and then I just build it up each 3-4 levels, and it's like a shelving system so that it actually reinforces the corner rather than put stress on it.
Fantastic. You describe this as part of your technique?
Yeah, this is part of the process of this piece. Like this piece is going to end up having washes on it, like that piece up there on the left. You know, it's like a alluvial plain kind of feeling, you know.
The upper left?
Yeah, the upper left.
Okay.
I mean, there'll be more color coming through, but it'll have that kind of feel. And so the way I do that is I actually set up a gravitational field, you know, by propping this thing up like that, and then spraying it down. I'll spray it down. You're going to want to move on that because you'll get wet. I'll spray it down, then I'll give it a light wash with the cement that they've mixed up for me. It's a cement with a polymer in it. I'll give it a wash, and then I'll hit it with fine sprays until it's almost as if it erodes off, you know. And as it dries, it'll allow some of this color to come through, much subtler than what's here now.
So, I mean, the color comes up through?
Yeah, you'll see. It's like as if it were, like if something was dusted and it rained and it revealed it.
Okay, all right. Laddie's going to show us part of the process of creating one of his works here, and I'm going to stand back and he's going to explain what he's doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of water involved in this, so you don't want to get wet. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a kind of a gravitational alluvial plane here. This piece has been carved and pigmented underneath with red iron oxide and blue cobalt oxide. Next thing I'm going to do is do a series of washes over it and just run them down, you know, just very much like a riverbed. So the first thing I do is wet it down. Lots of water. Okay. You see how much brighter it is now with the water on it. Okay, then this is a cement emulsion. It's pure cement that's mixed with a polymer. Gives it a very high bond, but it reacts just like cement. But when it dries, it really sticks. Okay, I want to cover this entire piece.
Now, so you end up washing some of this off?
Oh yeah, washing a good part of it off, yeah.
You know, I've seen so many of your works on gallery walls. I would never have guessed all of the process that goes along with making your work.
I know, it's, I got this idea actually flying over Utah. Looking down and going, you know, it'd be interesting if you could simulate this in the studio, you know, 100 square miles that looked like it was like one brush stroke. Okay, I'm going to give this a fine spray. It's almost like a rain. And then as it runs off, you see it's very much like a riverbed. I'm sort of a master of alluvial plain simulations. See, it just allows the top level of relief to be revealed, so it kind of defines it.
And now, do you add more colors to this? Or
I may go back and forth. I'll have to see what it looks like in the morning. You know, I won't know entirely if it was successful or not. It looks pretty good, though. I wanted just a subtle amount of color to come through. Now, because it's wet, it's a lot darker than it will be. You know, it's going to look very much like a dry wash when I'm finished.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all reacting to the physical carving that occurred a couple of weeks ago, actually. Like this was once a solid mass, and then it was put up on the wall, and I carved it with just these flat metal carving tools.
So what's the original material that you're carving?
The cement. You know, in other words, you know, the glass was cast, then there was a mold put around this piece, and it was this whole area here was cast solid. It was just a mass of cement.
And so you're carving with like stone carving tools?
No, I let it get to like leather dry, which is a clay term, meaning it's very malleable, but it holds its form, and it's got a certain amount of adherence to the form at that point. And as it dries during the day, I come back and carve it more and more. It's like a process that goes on over the course of a day, until the next day it comes back. It's rock hard, you know. Then it gets a series of washes that are relative to the carving.
Well, so what does this weigh, do you think?
It probably weighs about 110 pounds or something like that, because it's not solid. It's on a wood form. Yeah, and it's got a whole bracketing system behind it and everything.
All right. Well, so is there more that we're going to be able to see on this right now, or you have to go through a drying
No,
process?
this has to dry now. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't do any more to this guy.
All right.
Okay, well, this is my workforce here. This is my son, Jackson. And this is Jake, who is actually on the payroll. And this is Pamela Barish, my girlfriend, who is a very well-known fashion designer who dresses all of us, not me, but these kids. Yeah, these guys are important in the studio. Jake's been working for me for how long? About 3 years? Something like that, yeah. And Jackson's out there just starting. He's an artist as well. And his sister's an artist, so I guess we turn out artists in our family. We don't have very many doctors and lawyers, but we got a lot of creative people, and he's just right on track here. So these guys are real important in the process. This is a piece that I did recently, probably one of the most recent. It's a combination of the aluminum that I've been experimenting with and the glass that is pretty much signature material for me. This is a bronze glass, and then with the aluminum. And I like the idea of the way it bends the light, controls the light, and then reflects the light, and then has various elements of depth in it. A piece like this also looks great outside because it captures the light. In fact, I call them light traps, and then bends it and then allows the viewer to see the ambient light around the piece. So it's an interesting material for me. The aluminum is fabricated just like an airline fuselage. This is 6061 aluminum. It's the same material they make fuselages out of. And interesting story, a woman was here from Northrop to buy a piece once, one of the cement glass pieces. And I was experimenting with the aluminum, and I reached a dead end, but she explained to me that the process of making fuselages. And so I started to use that kind of technology in the lamination process, which allows the material to stay perfectly flat. You can run your hand over this, and it's actually perfectly smooth. It's just the light's just refracted enough to bend it. Right, Jackson? Mm-hmm.
he yells at us. You know, I get back to work and no, the bending is
He
just a little
yells
too
at us.
much. Let's even it out. And it's kind of funny.